9 o'clock, so we're going to get class started. Good morning, everyone. I hope you guys are doing well. Remember, you guys need to make sure that you're turning in your homework assignments. I have quite a few people who are not turning in homework assignments, but judging by who's here, maybe I'm speaking to the wrong crowd. So just make sure you guys do that. I do have office hours, so right before class. So if you guys ever want to join me in my office hours, we can do the homework together. It's really important we get that done. We do have spring break coming up, right, this next week. So we don't have school next week. So what I plan on doing is, rather than giving you guys a homework assignment, we're just going to have in-class time today to do the homework assignment. And it's not on big ideas. We're just going to do it together, okay? So then I can go on and give everyone that's in class today free points. How's that sound? Does that sound pretty awesome? And then that way, spring break is going to be for you to catch up. So if you guys are missing assignments, you can spend a little bit of time catching up, and then we'll be good to go when we get back. Okay. As always, if you guys have questions, please use chat or turn on your mic, and feel free to ask away. I'm going to give you guys a little bit more time to work on this warm up, especially since I have so many people joining late. So I'm going to put up a little timer here. Let's go ahead and take 3 minutes to finish up this warm-up. If you're already done with the warm-up, great. Just relax a little bit. Maybe go get a cup of water or, maybe something to snack on. So here we go. 3 minutes to finish this up. And again, if you guys are stuck on any of this, just ask for help and I'll help you out, okay? All right, guys, we're gonna go over this. Oh, we still got some few people still joining. All right, so we're gonna go over this again. If you guys have questions or comments or concerns, then go ahead and ask. I really want you guys asking questions, because that's what this is about, right? This is not a YouTube video yet, right? So make sure you guys are interacting and asking questions. So the first question, oops, I'm on freeze. The first question here is what we've been working on, right? We've been working on factoring trinomials, okay? And we're going to continue to work on that after spring break. And then for those of you that are really planning ahead, we're going to have our midterm 2 weeks after spring break. So that's the week that we're going to be going back. Some of you guys are going to be going back to school. Some of you guys are going to be remote. So we're going to spend, so that we have 4 days that week. So we're going to spend 3 of those days reviewing and just getting you guys comfortable with being in school for those who are in school. And then we'll do the midterm in class. So cool. All right. So we have this trinomial. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a 2x2 box. Okay. And then in my 2x2 box, do we have school this Friday? Yeah, tomorrow there is school. So it's a normal school day. It's periods 4, 5, and advisory. So spring break, right? Spring break. Yeah. Thank you for asking that question. I really appreciate that, right? Because that can be confusing. All right. So I'm going to have y squared. So my squared term in the top. So notice how it's y. It doesn't matter what letter it is. It's always going to work. Okay. So then I'm going to have negative 42 down here. So I have my first term in the upper left, and I have my last term in the bottom right. Okay. That's kind of our pattern here. And then I'm going to... right on the top, I want what I'm multiplying to. On the bottom, I want what I'm adding to. So let's see here. To get to my multiply, we multiply, right? So we take my first and my last term, multiply them together. So that's negative 42y squared. Now remember, I've had people ask me, like, why do we multiply these to get this? And you're right. When there's no number in front of the squared term, it doesn't seem like it's worth it, right? But remember, in the future, when you guys go into Algebra 2, there will be a number here. So I'm setting you guys up for success. Okay, so that's why I'm doing that. Okay, so I have negative 42y squared because I multiplied these two numbers. And then I'm going to take my middle term. It's called my linear term. And I'm going to put it down here. So I have my product up here. Product means multiply. And I have my middle term, or my linear term, is what I'm going to add to. So I ran out of room here, so I'm just going to go like that. So I need to figure out my multiplication. I need to figure out numbers that multiply to 42. Don't worry about the negative yet. Oh my gosh, 42, that's a big number. Can you guys help me out in chat? What are some numbers that multiply to 42? Oh, and if you're completely stuck, right, what I would do is on Desmos or with a calculator, just take 42 and start dividing it by numbers and seeing, okay, so 42 and 2 work. So I know 42 and 1. I know 2 times 21. Oops, I should go 20. Oops, 21 times 2. Okay, and so then I can go 42 divided by 3. Oh my gosh, that works, right? So I can, let's see here, I'm going to have 14 times 3. Gosh, I'm on a roll. 14 divided by 4. Oh, that one didn't work, right? So if you're getting stuck, that's how you can use a calculator to help you out. You're just going to test numbers out until you get what you want, okay? So go ahead and fill out this list on your own. Doesn't look like any of these are going to work, right? Because there's no way I can add or combine these to get negative 1, right? So keep going with your list. Again, all I did in the calculator, oops, probably 42 not. There we go. I'm not 14, right? So 42 divided by 4, again, wasn't a whole number. So just keep going until we find numbers that maybe are a little bit bigger. Anybody? So no one has shared numbers with me. What numbers do we got, guys? You guys thought I was just gonna do the answer for you. No. I still want you guys participating. So what are some numbers you guys found? What multiply to 42? Oh man, tough crowd today. Oh, there we go. So we're coming in. So some people said, so we got 6 and 7. Okay, or 7 and 6, it's the same thing. Any other ones? Right, so 42 divided by 6, right, is 7. 42 divided by 7. Ooh, so that's 6. Right, that was silly. divided by 8, 42 divided by 9. Okay, so maybe that's it. No one got any other ones? Well, let's check here. So I always check to see what they add up to. So now we got to be careful. So see how it's negative? One of these then has to be negative because the only way we can multiply to get a negative number is one of them is negative. So how do we figure that out? Well, the easy way of doing that is you look at the linear term, and whatever sign that is, the biggest number is that sign. Okay, so for example, the biggest number here is 42, so I would make that negative. The biggest number here is 21, I would make that negative. The biggest number here is 14, I would make that negative. The biggest number here is 7, I would make that negative. Okay, and you can double check if I add these. Negative 42 plus 1 would be negative 41. Negative 21 plus 2 would be negative 19. Negative 14 plus 3 would be negative 11. And then 6 plus negative 7 would be negative 1. Okay. And if you guys aren't comfortable doing this in your head, you can always use a calculator. So these are the numbers I want. 6 and negative 7. And it doesn't matter what side you put them on. So I could have 6y and negative 7y. And then I'm going to double check. So in my calculator, I'm just going to double check. 6 times negative 7. Oops, not two negatives though. So 6 times negative 7 is negative 42. That's what I want. And then I'm going to go 6 plus a negative 7, and I get negative 1. Okay, so that's what I want. This is, right, that's the answer to my little mini game. And again, if you guys have questions, please go ahead and ask, because for me at least, this is the hardest part, right, is trying to figure this out, because it's kind of just guess and check. So I'm going to put these over here. Okay. So then now that we get, these numbers in here, I'm going to take my pinky, can be any finger really, and I'm just going to look at here and I'm going to say, hey, what can I factor out of this top row? So there's a 1 here, so the biggest number I can pull out is a 1. And then I have 2 y's here, and I have 1 y here. So I can only pull out a singular y. Okay, so I factored out a y here. And then, once you just get your first one, then it's just, you can fill out the rest. So what times y gives me y squared? That's a y. What times y gives me negative 7y? That's a negative 7. What times y gives me 6y? That's a positive 6. And then we just double check. Negative 7 times 6 is negative 42. Yeah, we've already double checked that. So my answer here, I'm just going to write it above. So it doesn't matter the order that you put the factors. So I put y plus 6 first. You don't have to. You could put y minus 7 first, right? That's my answer. So how did we do, guys? Did we do okay? Are people feeling okay with that? Are you guys awake? Thank you. I appreciate you responding. Thank you so much. All right, so just remember, guys, if you're not like, hey, Kraft, I didn't get this right and I'm confused, then I don't know, right? So really, and this is an important skill in life, right, is advocating for ourselves. So really make sure that you speak up and you advocate for yourself, because unfortunately, that's how our society works, right? So make sure you guys find that voice and let me know so I can help you out. All right. So now, these are old stuff, right, that we started at the very first of this trimester. But I just was throwing in there to help remind you guys, because this is going to be on the midterm, so we need to start practicing now. So remember, when we're adding, right, we're looking at like terms. So for example, I have an 1x squared here, and I have 7x squareds here. So if I'm adding them, that's 1 plus 7. That would be 8x squared. Okay. And then I would take a look at it and say, like, oh, okay, here I have a negative 1x. And then over here, I have a negative 1x. So if I go negative 1, oh no, I'm so sorry that you're not feeling well. Oh, homie. I hope that you feel better soon. So sorry. hang in there. Hang in there. The good news is that we're not gonna have homework over spring break, okay? So you can rest up. So if I have -1 plus -1, that's -2x. Okay. Trying to use color to help you guys out. And then if I take a look here, I just have a -2, but there's no whole number over here, right? So -2 plus nothing is still -2. Okay, so this would be my answer. It'd be 8x squared minus 2x minus 2. Okay, hopefully you guys look at this and you're like, oh yeah, we did do that, and I can do this. That's what I'm hoping, right? Even if you made a little bit of mistakes, it's just because we have a little rust, right? And that's okay. That's okay. All right. So I'm just going to assume, since no one is saying anything, that we're doing okay with that, which is really good. Okay, so now subtracting is a little bit more difficult, right? So if I'm taking a look at this, I have 4x squared here and 3x squared here. But I'm going to do a little partial step here. So this is what we're doing. We're doing 4x squared, and then we have to remember we're minusing now. So minus 3x squared. So that, right, is going to be 4 minus 3 is just 1x squared. Okay, so I'm just showing a little extra work here in the middle so that you guys see what I'm doing, right? See how it's minus, not plus now? So I'm going to go 4 minus 3. And order matters. So whatever number comes first has to come first, right? We can't go 3 minus 4. 4 came first, so that's going to come first there. All right, and then I take a look. I have a -3x and I have a -x. But when I bring these together, again, I'm just showing a little extra work here. I have -3x minus -x. Okay, so I have the minus from the middle, and the negative is still there, right? So I have -3 minus. Now, if you're not comfortable with subtracting negatives, the cool thing is, guys, calculators will do this for us, right? So I'm going to have -3, oops, that shiny light, -3 minus, and then a -1, right? Because there is a 1 here that we don't write. Okay, so I have -3 minus a -1, and so that's going to end up being -3 plus 1, which is -2. So we're going to have minus 2x, like that. I'm just pausing in case people want to ask questions. Ooh, we still got more people coming in. Better late than never. All right, so I have +5 here, -8 here. So when I go to do these, I'm going to have 5 minus a -8. Again, I really encourage calculator use, okay? Because we don't want to get this wrong. So 5 minus -8, right? So minus a negative, that means I'm going to be adding. So it's really 5 plus 8. So I get 13. Okay, like that. Boom. That is our warm-up. Okay, so again, our midterm, because of spring break, is coming up in 3 weeks. So nothing going on during spring break, and then it's the second week after spring break we'll have a midterm. So I'm just going to keep adding this stuff into our warm-ups. All right, guys, a lot of people came in late, so I'm going to repeat myself a little bit from the beginning. So I apologize for those who are here. So a couple of things. One, a lot of people are missing assignments. Okay, so that's very concerning because 80% of your grade is those assignments. So this is what I want from you guys. I'm not going to see you guys for over a week. Okay, you will not have homework after this class. There's not a new homework. So what I need you guys to do is I need you guys to really make sure that if you have missing assignments, this spring break is a great opportunity to get missing assignments done. Okay, if you need help, I only have one more office hour before spring break, and that's tomorrow morning. Okay, so if you want to go into spring break not having to worry about missing assignments, and so you can just be you, then please come to my office hours tomorrow so we can get that done. So with that said, what we're going to do today is we're going to do what would have been your homework assignment. We're going to just do it in class. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post the question, and then I'll give you guys some time to work on it. Okay. So what are we doing here? It looks like we're going to do this one. So I want you to factor, and you're going to factor d squared minus 5d plus 6. And I'm going to give you guys, I think 2 minutes is enough. I think 2 minutes is enough. We'll try it and see how you guys are doing, okay? So we're going to factor d squared minus 5d plus 6 and just give it a try. Hey, and I appreciate you finishing up your homework. That's really good. So let's try this problem out. Nope, lost one. All right, I hope that was enough time. If it wasn't enough time, you could let me know, because we're just doing 4 of these. So this is 1, and then we're going to do 3 more. Okay? So again, I'm going to draw the box. I'm going to put my squared term up top. So d squared, and the 6 down in the bottom. I'm going to make an x. On the top, I'm going to have my product. On the bottom, I'm going to have my sum. So 6 times d squared, that's 6d squared. And my linear term is negative 5d. So when you say, is this the same as the 2 by 2 square? So right here, like I drew the 2 by 2 square. Right, so we're factoring this. This is just like, yeah, this is just like the problem we did in the warm-up. So the thing is, we have to get really good at factoring, because when we come back from spring break, we're going to add another layer to it. Okay, and we're going to solve for D. So, okay, yeah. So we're just practicing more of the same. And the reason why we're spending so much time on it is because the real deal is being able to set this equal to 0 and solve. But if we can't do this, then it's like crazy overwhelming, and then people hate math and they just want to like go cry in a corner and be like, I'm just not going to graduate. So we're not going to do that. We're going nice and slow. So I got to think of numbers that multiply to 6. Okay, so I have 6 times 1, 2 times 3. I think those are the only ones. And they have to add up to negative 5. Well, to add up to a negative, right, there's no way positives are going to add up to a negative. So these both have to be negative. right? Because a negative times a negative is a positive, right? So if I add these up, I get -6 plus -1 is -7. Close, but no dice there. -3 plus -2 is -5. Winner, winner. Okay, so I'm going to have -3 and -2. So -3d, -2d. Now, let's double check it. -3 times -2 is 6. It's +7. So the thing is, right, if these were both positive, so 6 and 1 were positive, then it would be +7. And if this was positive and this was positive, then it would be +5. So the problem here is we have to add to a negative number, right? So if we keep our numbers positive, then there's no way we can add to a -5. Does that kind of make sense? Like, the only way we can add to a negative is if both of them are negative. But what's cool is if you take a negative times a negative, you still get a positive, right? So if we make both these numbers negative, not only do they add to a negative, but they multiply to a positive. Does that help out? That was a great question. Yeah, that's why I'm doing these, because they're difficult and they're kind of weird. That's why we're doing these together. And thank you for asking that question. I really appreciate it, because now you're going to have a little bit better understanding. So thank you so much. Okay, so when you see that negative down here for the sum, that's a really good indication that one or both are going to be negative. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to take these now, and I'm going to plug them in here. Okay, I'm going to factor the top. So it looks like there's just a 1 here, so it's d. D times d is d squared, and then I have a -2 here, and I have a -3 here, right? When there's no number in front of the d squared, factoring these are a lot easier, right? When you guys get to where you have to have a number here, it's going to be more difficult. So what's my answer? My answer, maybe I should put it in red. My answer is d minus 2 times d minus 3. And the order doesn't matter. If you switch the 2 and the 3, that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to pause just for a little bit. Are we doing okay, guys? Now remember, if you made mistakes here, that's totally okay, right? We're going to do 3 more of these. The goal is, by the time we do the last one, is that you're feeling more confident, you're feeling better, and you're like, hey, I can do this, okay? So that's the goal. So if you aren't there yet, don't get frustrated. Okay, we're going to do another one. Okay, so, sorry, I left my book over here. I have some problems pre-picked out, so that way I don't make mistakes. So here we go. So we're going to factor k squared minus 10k plus 24. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes to work on this. So this is k squared minus 10k plus 24. And remember, if you guys have questions, to please use chat or the microphone. You can ask in English or in Spanish, because we have Miss Perez here that is amazing and wonderful. So if you guys have questions in English or Spanish, please go ahead and ask. We want to help you. All right, let's go over this. And again, if you guys have questions, just go ahead and ask, and stop me at any point, right? So I see that we're factoring a trinomial. See how it has 3 terms? So anytime we're factoring, it says factor, and you have 3 terms, then we know automatically that we're going to have a 2 by 2. Okay. I know then that I'm going to put my squared term in the upper left, and I'm going to put my last term, or my constant term, in the bottom. We're going to do a little x to have a little visual aid for us here, right? With multiplication on top, addition on the bottom. So I'm going to multiply my constant and my squared term to get my multiplication factor. And then for my plus, that's my linear term, or the middle term, that is negative 10k. Yeah, and you can also mute. Do people need more time to work on this? Was 2 minutes not enough? Okay, I can give a little bit more time. We can do an extra minute. If you're taking 6 minutes to do this problem, we need to ask questions. So this problem shouldn't take 6 minutes. Okay. And hey guys, and so like that's a great example of if you guys communicate with me, we can make anything happen, right? So just let me know if you need more time and then we can make that happen, okay? Because this is about you guys. All right, so I put my squared term in the upper left. I put my constant term in the bottom right. I got my product and my sum. And then I'm going to think, okay, how do I get 24? Well, there's always the number and 1, right? That's the easy one. But then we got to think, okay, what times 24? What times what gives me 24? And remember, you can always use the calculator trick where you just take 24 and you divide it by different numbers until you find which one. So if I'm thinking 24, I think I'm pretty sure 7 times 3 is in there, right? Okay, but there's also 4, right? So 4 times 6. I think that's it. I think those are the ones. So then I'm going to say, okay, well, notice here I have to add up to a negative. So this is a lot like the last one, right? I have to add up to a negative. And if these were all positive, 7 times 3 is 21. What was I thinking? I meant 7. 3 times 8. Isn't that what I meant? You're absolutely right. 3 times 8. Sorry, 3 times 8. Thank you for that catch. I really appreciate that. 3 times 7 is definitely 21. Okay, so 3 times 8, and this is why I should have used a calculator, right? Because arithmetic mistakes, they happen even when you're a teacher. So 3 times 8, so that's 24. So none of these numbers added together, though, can give me a negative. So I'm going to have to, the only way that I can get a negative is either one of them is negative or both of them is negative. Now, we take a look. So I'm multiplying, and I get a positive. There's only 2 ways to get a positive number with multiplication. Either they're both positive or they're both negative. So then I know I'm going to go ahead and make all of these negative. Okay, and then I'm going to add them up and see what I get. So this would be negative 25. This would be negative 11.
and this would be negative 10. Okay, so right here I see a negative 10, so I know that the negative 4 and the negative 6 are going to do the trick. Okay, so if I write here, if I write negative 4k and negative 6k,
so negative 4 times negative 6 is positive 24. Negative 4 plus negative 6 is
negative 10. So I'm going to bring these guys over here. Cover up the bottom. I see the top. I can only factor out a k. So k times k is k squared. K times negative 6 is negative 6 squared. Or sorry, that was not what I meant to say. Negative 6 times k is negative 6k. And then k times negative 4
is negative 4k. And then we've already double checked that negative 6 times negative 4 is negative 24.
So our answer is, right, you can write k minus 4 or k minus 6 and then times the other factor.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions? And by popular demand, we will be increasing the time for the next one.
All right, I'm just gonna go down. If you guys have questions, still let me know.
Okay, so here is, so we only have two more. Only have two more.
So this next one is n squared plus 4n minus 12. And I'm going to give you guys the 3 minutes to do that. There we go. All right. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this. If you guys have questions, just let me know.
Okay. So I got a box. I'm going to put my squared term in the upper left. I'm going to put my constant term in the bottom right. I'm going to make a little x to put my multiplication on top,
Addition on the bottom.
So I'm going to multiply these two numbers to get my product. So I'm going to have negative 12n squared. My middle term, called my linear term, is going to be in the middle, so I have 4n. And then I'm going to make a list of multiplication, so negative 12. So I have, again, I'm going to ignore the negative for right now, so I have 12.
Excuse me.
12 and 1. Maybe 6 and 2. And then 4 and 3.
Now, the problem here is they have to multiply to be negative. So the only way to multiply to be negative is one of them has to be negative. But how the heck do you choose which one is negative? Well, look at the sum. The sum is positive, which means the bigger number has to be positive.
So that means then all of our smaller numbers are going to be negative.
Okay. Now remember, if you don't remember that cool little trick, you can always just guess and check.
Okay, it just takes a little bit longer. So 12 minus 1 is 11.
Okay, that's not 4.
6 minus 2 is 4.
I think we have a winner there.
And 4 minus 3 is 1. So it looks like we're going to want
6 and negative 2.
So I'm going to have 6n and negative 2n. We double check.
6 times negative 2 is definitely negative 12. 6 plus negative 2
is 4. So I'm going to put these in here. If I cover up the bottom here, I'm going to factor the top. Again, we're seeing patterns here because there's no number with n. It's almost always going to be just an n then, right? So then I say, okay, what times n gives me n squared?
N and n do?
What times n gives me negative 2n? That's negative 2. And what times n gives me 6n? That's positive 6. And there's my answer. So I have like n minus 2, n plus 6. And again, the order doesn't matter. So if you have n plus 6 first, that's totally fine.
All right. How are we guys doing with that? We only have one more.
Okay, only have one more. Any questions?
Nice. I'm glad you're doing well. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Yay! Some people are getting success. This is so good. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So this is our last one for the day.
Okay. We are going to... Uh-oh, what did I do with my black pen? Oh, here it is. We are going to factor s squared plus 3s minus 40. Okay, so this is, oops, I'm not on the screen. That really helps, right? There we go. So this is an s. So we have s, not a 5, s squared plus 3s. So those are s's, right? So they're s's because they have no flat parts, right? So this is s and that is s. Okay, so s squared plus 3s minus 40. And I'll give you guys 3 minutes for this. And it's our last one of the day. There we go. This was going to be your homework, by the way. So I hope you guys appreciate that there's no new homework over spring break. All right, let's go over this one, guys. The last problem before spring break. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Still have school tomorrow.
All right, so let's take a look here. We got a 2x2 box. Gosh, my
2x2 is getting a little smaller. I'm going to put s squared up here. I'm going to put negative 40 down here. I have my product and my sum. So this is negative 40s squared and 3s. Oh, don't look like a 5, please. Okay, and then I got to think to myself, what multiplies to get 40? So I got 40 and 1. I got 2 times 20. 5's in there, right? So what do we got? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So that's 8. Okay. And then anything else? Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah. Mr. Kreft's handwriting can be improved. I agree. And then I think I'm sure there's other ones, but I already see the answer, so I'm just going to move on. 4 and 10. There you go. Thank you. I don't know why I missed that one. That's a good one. Okay, so now to go do this, our answer has to be negative, right? So that means one of these has to be negative. But if I look here, it's a positive sum. So that means the bigger number is going to be positive. So I'm going to put all the negatives with these smaller ones. So if I add these, 40 minus 1 would be 39. 20 minus 2 would be 18. 8 minus 5 would be 3. 10 minus 4 would be 6. So I wanted 3. So that's going to be 8s and negative 5s. Do you see how my 5s look really different? Like they look different than my s's, right? I make it a flat top and then I come straight down. Then I do the curvy. So only curvy on the bottom. So I'm going to have 8s and negative 5s. The only thing I can factor out on the top is an s. S times s is s squared. Negative 5 times s is negative 5s. And s plus 8 is 8s. So my answer here is s minus 5 times s plus 8. And again, if you have the order switched, it doesn't matter. Well, ladies and gentlemen, 9:50, almost great time there. I just want to reiterate this one more time. There's no new homework assignment. If you have missing work, use spring break to get all your missing work turned in. I want everyone to have 100% by the time we come back. That's the goal. Everyone has an A. Okay, why not? You guys can make this happen. Okay, so